What's good, superstars? Back with another Veve video. You got Superstar Joe. You got Superstar Rob in the building. How's it going, Rob?
Pretty good, you.
Man, we're fighting the Veve Moon Boys versus the Veve Fudders. Which one are you? I don't know. I'm a Moon Boy. Guys, if you're new here, don't forget, become a superstar. Smash the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell notification so you know whenever we post some spicy meatball content for your faces. You can also become a superstar VIP, $2.99. Hit the join button under the video. One of those stars next to your name. Level up through the stars. Get to the super duper rare stars. Get the most possible entries into the giveaways every single month. Follow us on X. Follow us on Instagram. Join the Discord. Discord is where you're going to want to report anything you do to enter the Superstar Utility Program. But also, we have a plethora of channels for all the projects in the Web3 space and more. There's all kinds of things in there. Lots of people getting along, talking, doing all kinds of fun stuff over there. I know people are negotiating and doing all those things in our market chats and all whatever's happening there. But it's been a lot of fun, and I love seeing people meeting each other on our Discord. It's one of my favorite parts of it.
Yeah, and guys, the Discord, we have great people in the Discord. Please join our giveaways and our gifts that we run through our Discord every time. It's growing. I haven't checked in a while, Joe. I'm actually going to take a peek right now because the Discord is it's just an amazing place to hang out, and we have people from all over. 383 members. We have people from all over different projects, and then what I love is the crossbreeding, the cross pollination. Okay, it's like a bee. Right? They go to one flower, they go to the other flower, get that cross-pollination, they get all the different projects, and they meet people from different projects. It's a great thing.
I feel like those people, they understand the most because they're learning from every other project. And like this space grows as a whole, not in one direction. It's almost like a web. That's what they call it, Web3, right? So the fact that people know a little bit from each, but we're learning every day. Like we don't know everything. We don't know every project. There's projects that come to our attention through the Discord. We try to cover as much as we can on the channel, but the space is growing so fast and so rapidly. We got to cover at least some things that are close to home, at least, and then we'll go from there. But space is evolving, and there's been a lot of emotions running wild in this space. So we're going to bring up something that I know most of the Veve fam is aware of. There's this post today from Sergio, and he's quote tweeting Dr. Profit's post, which says, "Achievement unlocked. 50 people tuned into the Veve FUD space. Which other project can brag about having so many dedicated haters who just can't quit?" And then Sergio says, "Veve united Fudders like no other company can." And then we had some commentary about our participation in the listeners section of that space. So shout out to Jesus David Medina for calling us out, because guess what? We love to talk about comments about this. So let's get our response here, and then we'll dive into not maybe our response, but more so why Veve maybe has so many Fudders. But not only that, it doesn't matter if people listen to these spaces. So if you don't listen to both sides, what does that say? We listen to all of Veve spaces, and we'll continue to. We love Miss Gex spaces. We love O'Malley skip spaces. We are in all of the spaces. So take screenshots of those ones, post them on Twitter. You'll see us there too. It's something that's very common. We don't listen anonymously either to any spaces, because why would we? I mean, we cover both sides of the project of anything, the concerns, the happiness, anything that comes up, we're going to talk about it. What's the point you were trying to make? Should we not listen to certain people talk? Please elaborate on why you care what we listen to. I think we're doing our research. That's what we're doing here, Rob. We've been doing it for over 2 years, every single day. How do you keep putting content out there? You got to listen to the community and understand where the sentiment is, and then talk about it.
Yeah, like, I mean, we've said this before on the channel, but why do we do videos every day? And so, I mean, thank you for calling us. On this channel, we love to always talk about any comments that anyone who reaches out to us on X and a comment like this, I think is a bit of a hot take right now, right? About these flooding spaces. And I was listening. I don't know if this is when I was listening to it. We were both listening at this point. Me and him finished the video yesterday, and we popped in there. I was listening pretty late. But yeah, I mean, why did we start this channel? We want to contribute to the space, right? We started with Veve. We were talking about it a lot. We definitely the NFT. We love the NFT aspect of it. And we want to contribute. And so let's start this YouTube channel. And then the space started to grow. And now we cover all these different projects, including Veve. And we love to, get some discussion, get thoughts out there about the pros and cons of the space, the pros and cons of all the companies, and what we think needs to happen to grow this space. And of course, there's the community aspect. We have so many friends that
It was a great conversation, though. Like, there was some great parts. I mean, KC is not a Fudder, so-called Fudder, and John is definitely not a Fudder. Like, I mean, I thought it was a great conversation, John. They were talking about their collections and why they collect and how they see the collecting space going. I mean, the screenshot only tells you that. I mean, I wish there was some context or some video or some clip of what people were saying here, because when I was listening, at least they was pretty civil, and they were just talking about how their comics, their physical comic values maybe have been changing up over time. I know John was putting on a clinic talking about his physical comic collection. So I don't know. I don't know if people maybe just didn't listen. They just wanted to get that screenshot from the grease trap, as they call it. But not too sure. But I thought it was pretty entertaining, at least, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, but it does beg the question. There is no denying that Veve does, in fact, have many fudders, right? This is something that I think would be, if we didn't admit that this was the case, it wouldn't be truthful, right? Like, we know Veve has over the years. There absolutely seems to be a negative sentiment with some people who have turned their back on the company, but they started off loving it. So we have to ask ourselves the question, and I think this video is going to just kind of reflect on what's happened over the years. And then by reflecting on what's happened, maybe fudders can be converted, right, over time, if things can be addressed. So why don't we start off just with like the community management aspect of it? I think this is a big issue, and that's built up over the years because of the consistency of the messaging from the Veve team. And one of those has always been, promises and dates. And I think that with a lot of the things that people were told not really ever coming to fruition, or coming into fruition in a way that they didn't expect it to, has led to some resentment. And some examples of those were promises about MCP. Remember, I think there's a 2021 tweet out there about MCP being released in September of 2021. And then obviously that didn't really happen. And it is functional right now, but it's not really functional in the way that people thought it would be this many years down the line. We had the Veveverse, the discussion about the Veveverse at the ecomi. Me and Joe were in the room. We had a whole roadmap with dates. 2023, we were supposed to have gamification on the Veveverse side, and it's now June 2024, almost halfway into the year of 2024. That would be well over a year and a half, and we haven't even seen the home space, although I recognize that they're in beta. And they're also pretty quiet about it too, right? Not giving too many sneak peeks. It's like, and then they're all NDA'd right now, the people who are on that thing. Transfers were taken away because of the whole bot and the issue with the gem scandals, and now nobody can you had, for example, Veve Arcade complaining, or Kid Arcade complaining about how his channel's going to die because he can't do transfers on Veve anymore. So this, I think, was one really big sticking point. The massive delays mixed in with the expectations, the promises that were given, and the guidance that was given. That's one aspect, and maybe Joe, you can pitch in now with another one, but that was one aspect that I think led to some growth in the Fudder community.
Yeah, I think that the delays and the timelines and all that, it's something that was an old Veve thing. I think that the newer Veve, since we've seen Mitch on board, it has been a little bit more careful when it comes to announcing timelines and delivering on those timelines. More so kind of head down, go to work and come up with new product. We've seen since Mitch came along, we've seen the search bar, we've seen a new web app. We've seen a couple of things like the Veve Comics website that nobody knew was coming. It's not as public of a roadmap like we would like to see. Even if you don't give timelines, we like to know kind of the direction of the project. It's something we've been very vocal on here, because we hope, and a lot of the speculation early on when we joined the platform was that it would be utility based. There would be things to do with these collectibles. There'd be some fun things to do in the Veveverse. Omi would be a great utility token in the Veveverse. This is all things that we understood based off of early commentary and what we expected. I understand that there are pivoting in direction, things like that. We see companies pivot in direction all the time, but maybe not from such core principles of what the company was based on. So the one thing that you'll notice, especially in these spaces, because we go to all the spaces that we can whenever people are talking, is that a lot of these people have been here for a long time, be it from 2021, and then they're upset that things change because of the pivot in direction, or maybe they're OMI investors, and there was a white paper that was designed and promises were made in that white paper, and then it was scrapped, and then the OUP, it's come out 3 times, they've changed what they're doing to OUP. I mean, people buy cryptocurrency for appreciation and value. Like, that's what they do. That's the whole thing of cryptocurrency. People try to bet on the right coin and hope that it goes up. And when people are told one thing and that's why they buy that coin, and then they say, oh, wait, actually, we don't mean that. Sorry, you bought this much based off of that. It's actually this that we're doing. And then they do that again. You're going to get a lot of people who have resentment, because you're starting to get finances involved, like people's money that they earn, they go to work their jobs for to do that. And then especially now where we're at with the OMI token, we don't have a roadmap. We don't even know what to expect anymore. It's like, don't worry, trust me, bro. We're gonna get there and we're gonna do it, and your OMI is gonna go to the moon. Like, why would people do that? So people have genuine frustrations, and it's always good to know what those frustrations are. So I think some of the call outs, especially on X today, were of saying, oh, look at this group of people who are upset. Like, look at them. You don't want to be a part of them. Kind of trying to make people like say like, oh, don't show your logo or your picture in one of these spaces, or else you're like a bad person because you're listening to this. Like, what are we trying to do here? Are we trying to push people away from listening to people's concerns? And if that is the case, why are you doing that? Why do you not want people to hear what these people have to say? I mean, if they are such like savvy people in the collectible space, doesn't matter. You're in here to collect anyways. You want to be a collector. You join the space to be a collector. If you listen to somebody who's saying nonsense, you should be able to distinguish that. But if they're not saying nonsense, then it seems like you're trying to make sure that they don't hear that thing that those people are talking about, because maybe it's a little bit close to home. Maybe it's a little bit sensitive for you to hear, or you don't want the majority of people to be hearing that. But some of these spaces, they talk about genuine concerns, or sometimes they're not even talking about concerns, and it's just a fun time to be around and listen to what they got to say. So I think that type of concerns, we got to kind of taper our expectations.
Well, and there was more, Joe, right? Like just, you know, you got to remember some of these people, when eventually they started turning because, let's say, they didn't like the direction of the company, bought into a dream that maybe never came to fruition. They felt like they didn't get what they thought they were going to get because of delays. And then, you know, part of the community management, which we did a video on previously, is blocking people. We don't really block people on our channel, right? Like, we always allow even some of the harshest people on us. You know, we don't block them. We will banter with them. We will go back and forth with them. But they are always still welcome to comment. And sometimes I wonder if blocking people was the right method from the VV team, because when you start blocking people, now all of a sudden you're dealing with making it personal. And, you know, I know they want to clean up their socials, but some of these people were customers and they still had collectibles and they felt turned off by this. And I don't know, you know, in hindsight, maybe it wasn't the best way to deal with it. So then you block them. And then I think that then makes them want to then go and vent on their spaces and talk about all their grievances with why they're upset and why they feel unfair that they got blocked because they think they have valid concerns. You know, the things, like, so many things have been said. I remember this is just, I think, a lower issue. Remember the whole discussion about like sub 41 mints never seeing the light of day? It was just another example of, you know, a statement that was made, and then in reality, they ended up through an off-app deal, ended up in the market. So I think that, like, people will ultimately, as a crowd, okay, it's one thing to convince one person, but as a crowd, I think people will ultimately follow the truth. So if there's a FUD space, so-called, and they're saying complete nonsense, things that are not true, they're saying things that aren't fair. If there's 50 people in the space and there's actually nothing valid about it, the majority won't be fooled. They will know the history. They will know what happened, and they will listen potentially for their own entertainment reasons, or maybe they're just listening because they don't agree, or maybe they're listening because they agree. But ultimately, if it's not legitimate, then if you are somebody who disagrees and you're invested in the project, it shouldn't matter to you, because it's nonsense and no one will believe it long term. And it's not going to affect, there's no new users right now, so don't worry about it. Same with the bulls. If the bulls are saying something and it's not true, then the majority is not going to listen, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah, and I mean, further to your point about the blocking and all that things, there's been a couple games with that VV account. I'm not sure who runs it or who follows it. Obviously, there's a couple people behind the handle, but I mean, even the unfollows that maybe were unnecessary at some times. I mean, we're one of them that were unfollowed. That, again, we can handle it. We're able to still talk about VV and participate and do whatever we have to do. But there's people who aren't. They're not able to handle it, and there's people who aren't able to cope, as they say, because of certain situations that maybe they feel like they didn't do anything to be unfollowed or whatever. But I mean, there's just no need to like poke the bear, especially if there's people who are concerned. I mean, are we retaining users, or is it just like, I don't care, we'll get new users, don't worry about you? Like, I feel like there's always been that type of issue when it comes to that. But now we do see My Collectibles joining the team, and we love Aaron. We think he's a great ad for them when it comes to community facing personnel. I think that he's doing a good job bringing these live streams to light, where he can have a little bit of interaction with the Veve fam on a live stream under Veve official YouTube page. He's got Corey on there. He's brought Diana on there. And they've had a little message from David Yu each time at the end of the video. So something to look forward to. I think it's Fridays that they're doing them now. So something a little bit more consistent. Hope to see a little bit more interaction with the community, where there could be question and answer maybe, or maybe have some higher profile people from the team on once they get comfortable. I'm hoping that's something that comes along. But I think that My Collectibles is somebody who could be that facing person and maybe take some more of the more serious questions. We'll see what happens. I do hope that they do follow through on that one tweet that they put out where he was asking for concerns to be addressed in an upcoming video. Again, it's been a while since we've seen that tweet, so hopefully it's soon and not like soon, which means like more than 1 quarter away in Veve timelines. But I really hope that they do follow through on that one, because that's something that I know a lot of people are waiting for. So yeah, I think My Collectibles is doing a good job there as well.
Yeah, and I just want to remind everybody too, like, you know, we got some pushback when we made this video within 3 months of starting our YouTube channel. We started on January 3rd, 2022, March 19th, 2022. We put out this video, and you got to remember, during this time period, guys, like it was a risky video to put out. Yeah, like this was not a video that was going to be well received by the majority of people because of the amount of investment that was going into Veve. We got 5,200 views here. We got like 400 comments, like 410 comments. We had a lot of people, and it says your Veve collectibles are all going to zero, not clickbait. So we were at the time accused of course, of being Fudders, but we never over leveraged ourselves, right? This was not a project that we went all in on, and all of our financial hopes and dreams were dedicated to the project. But we were called Fudders. We just wanted to contribute to the discussion and be able to say, okay, here's a legitimate issue. We are in a way, you know, about community, right? Like we are Superstar Money, Superstar Nation's a real thing. Join the Discord and you'll see it yourself. And we wanted to put out videos so our viewers can see our perspective. And if we were wrong, we're wrong. But if we were right, we're right. And I mean, we didn't know at the time they can't go to zero because they won't let you list under $1. But I'm not gonna lie. I wonder if some of these comics would be close to zero at this point if that was the case. But anyways, like
I got a whole video idea for that, but yeah, keep going.
Yeah, right. So like was this FUD, or was this a legitimate, truthful discussion at the time about off-app gems, about the deflationary system of the marketplace, how, for example, you get fees constantly eroding the gem pool, how you get, now we know cash out, for example, you're going to lose 10% to cash out and all that. So there are legitimate discussions to have at the time. And maybe in today's day and time, there are also legitimate things that Veve needs to listen to. And I'll be honest, some of them they need to listen to. And I'll tell you right now, Veve, if you want to start winning people over, number one I would do is a roadmap. Like that, I think could honestly do so much good for you if you can just put out a clean, well-defined roadmap on everything you're working on and where you want it to go. You don't necessarily have to put a date, but you should say where you want to go. The problem is that history has shown us that there's still always changes in direction. Take your time, hire some lawyers, do a proper review, and put in a roadmap and let the people know where you want to go. I think another thing that you have to do is deal with the ownership aspect of this. So you got to do what the other guys have done in the space in terms of giving people flexibility through self-custody. It doesn't have to be self-custody of the actual token on Immutable X. Do a ghost token if it means doing that. Find a way to give people more power over their own collection. You've blocked their transfers. You've blocked their ability to do giveaways. You've blocked their ability to have freedom to just give it to their family if they would like to do so. You have to give people more freedom, and I think that will go a long way in client satisfaction. Another thing is do what you say. If you told people that you have a snapshot on a bond airdrop at a certain time, and then after the fact you say, well, actually it's a range, it's your fault because you should know better because obviously it takes hours for us to mine the blockchain and get the answer, when then later, you know, Omi Daily Burn, you know, he comes and he proves it himself, right?
Customer service. Like, the roadmap's a great idea, by the way. If they actually were, even now in this time, were to come up with some kind of roadmap, say, this is our plan, this is where we're going with this, TBD on the times, but this is what we expect to do with Omi or with Veve or with both, whatever. This is how we see it playing out. This thing here, a little bit maybe because of regulation. This thing here, maybe take a little bit longer to do. But giving a roadmap saying this is the vision, I think will do wonders, like you mentioned. But customer service is like the number one thing for any business out there. Everybody's got a customer service department. Why? Because they want to retain the users. Every year, I go to Veve, I send them a ticket about my James Bond airdrop. Everybody knows it's the meme of the community about how I didn't get my James Bond airdrop because I sold the collectibles that you needed to get it 18 minutes after the snapshot. Proven on the blockchain by Omi Daily Burn in our video that he did on his channel. You can go check that out if you want. Something about me being the father of the James Bond airdrop. Really fun video and really cool dude. Thank you for all that you do for the community. But this is the email from 10 days ago. So this is replying saying like, we got your ticket and we'll get back to you. You can see it. Reply, didn't receive 007 airdrop. Your concerns are extremely important to us and we aim to respond to your ticket within 3 business days. Please don't create additional tickets on the same issue as this may delay our response to you. I have made 0 more tickets on this issue. 10 days ago is when this came back and there's been 0 response to this since. I mean, I know that it's an old issue. I understand that. We've talked about it before. The first answer you gave me wasn't correct. I didn't miss the airdrop. I didn't miss the time. I had all the collectibles at the right time. We've proven that. I'm trying to go back to the well to see maybe if things have changed internally and maybe there's something that they are willing to do to make it right. Maybe they will give me one of the ones that they held back. Maybe that they will figure out a way to compensate. I don't know what to expect from them. But at the same time, I did go out of my way to spend my hard-earned gems on the stuff that was required to get the airdrop. And I just want to see them follow through on something that says we're putting the customer first. I think that that's something that people would love to see. I will make 20 videos on this about how they made it right if they make it right. I just don't ever expect it to be made right. But at the same time, I want to see if anything has changed or evolved over time. And if they're willing, at least respond in the 3 days that you said. Listen, Superstar Joe, you've come here, you've asked the same question before. We're not giving you your airdrop. Get over it. Do it within the 3 days that you say in the email. Don't just not respond to the email because this is one of the reasons why people get upset. I can handle it. I can make videos about it. I can laugh about it. But there's people out there who can't laugh about it. There's people out there who get upset and they want to vent and they're going to go to Twitter. They're going to go to YouTube. They're going to go to wherever they want and they're going to talk about it because you allowed them to do that by not following through on your 3-day timeline on your tickets, by following through on the things that you promised on your roadmap that don't exist anymore. Like, you have to expect this at this point. And for anybody out there telling people or trying to shame people for being in a space, for being a listener in a space, or for doing that, you really got to look in the mirror here, right? Because you're trying to silence the truth a lot of the time. Like, why are you wanting to do that? Maybe it's for self-gain. Maybe it's for your own personal reason. You want to laugh at it. You want to try and make people feel this small. Guys, if you want to listen to anything out there, go listen to whatever you want. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. Because at the end of the day, you're doing your own research. You're listening to whatever you need to do. You're going to know if somebody's blowing smoke because, like Rob said, the truth is going to stand out like crazy. And you're going to know for sure what people are trying to do with their intentions over the long run. It's never like over the long run, the truth always comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I try to live my life in a way where, you know, if anybody ever talks bad about me, whoever they tell won't believe it, right? Try to do it in a way where, you behave in a way where if anybody were to say anything fudding about you, people wouldn't believe it because they've had such a great experience with you. I think on not just an individual level, I think that's true. And it speaks perfectly to Veve on a company level. What kind of company do you want to be? Do you want to be one where there's fudding spaces and people listen and the majority of people are going to, you may always have 1 and 2 that are going to be disgruntled, but do you want to have people say, look, what you guys are saying is not true. It's nonsense because I've bought from that company. I'm a customer of that company. And long-term, I know that these guys have, stayed true to their word. They've done things right. And I don't believe what you're saying about them because I've had a different experience. Or do you want people to listen to that and be like, well, actually, you know what, looking back, there were all these things that happened and maybe you have a point. That's why it's so important, I think, for Veve to listen. And what do we have to gain from making this video? I think what we have to gain from making this video is that we can tell Veve what we think. And we have the ability, hopefully, to maybe be listened to and be heard. And we want this space to grow in general. We do videos on this every day for fun. We do it for fun because we love the space, we love the community. So, like we said, we gave some suggestions before. How can Veve be a company where people will turn from the FUD to the moon? Just start delivering. And I know a lot of people say it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, but a lot of these people have been around since 2021. They've been waiting a long time. And as time goes on, obviously competitors are catching up and already have. So, yeah.
That's a good point. I mean, maybe people put out the posts about trying to scare people away from being in these, or maybe trying to get people to go into the grease trap or whatever they call it more often, because they're going to say, oh, we don't want new users to see these types of spaces. We don't want new users to feel influenced by certain topics or conversations that are happening. But you go in these spaces and you see the people in the crowd. It's the same people. It's all the same people. It's never new people in there that are like, oh, what is this space that you're talking about, this company Veve that we've never heard about? That never happens. So like whatever narrative that is not true. So, I mean, just don't feel scared to show your face anywhere on any space. We'll go on anybody's space. We're never going to go anonymously because there's no point for us. We are trying to gather whatever information and learn about sentiment however we can. And we have no problems with anybody who's putting content out there. I think it takes a lot of effort. Some of these people do content every day on Twitter. Some people are doing it every week or every couple of days, whatever it is. It's just something to listen to about something that you guys have interest in. It's your topic that you probably don't talk a lot about with your regular family or friends. It's something that not everybody understands. So don't be ashamed to be in any spaces. If you're making some of these spaces, you want to call them BB5, whatever you want to call them, maybe whatever. But thank you for making any type of space and making content for us to listen to when we're just trying to relax and just hang out and chill, be on a drive home. And it goes both ways. We love them. Sanjay does great spaces. O'Malley does great spaces, like I mentioned earlier. Miss Gecko. The list goes on. Rebel Duck. There's all the people who do great spaces. And whenever we see one and we see familiar faces, we're going to jump in the space. And I think it's normal. And I don't think anybody should be ashamed of being in any space, especially when it comes to this collecting journey that we're on, because it's just what makes it fun.
Yeah, and at nighttime I'm in bed and I'm not gonna jump up and talk, but yeah, we prefer to listen in because usually it's after video. This is our video time, and then
they're fun. They're fun.
Yeah, it's past midnight. So, but yeah, like guys, we'd like to hear your thoughts below. Let us know in the comments below. What do you guys think? Do you guys think it's inappropriate to be having spaces speaking negatively about your experiences on a digital collectible company? In this case, it is Veve, but this can apply with any company, right? If you have a negative experience, do you think it's inappropriate? Do you believe that the truth is the truth, and those who listen will, and who know and are involved will eventually realize that either it's nonsense or not, and therefore the truth will always prevail? Do you believe that there's things that maybe can motivate the company to change in a certain way, that maybe these FUD spaces are actually not the worst thing, because it basically tells the company what they need to do to basically extinguish the FUD? Like, can you imagine, Joe, if they just went on the market and spent $1 to buy this thing and just give it to you, and then shut you up forever? Now you don't have to complain about your airdrop anymore that you're owed and deserved, but you never received, right? So there's obviously a lot to dig into. We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you haven't already, don't forget, become a superstar, smash the subscribe button, join the superstar fam, hit the bell notification to get every single video every single day. Also, our VIPs, $2.99 a month. Star beside your name, access our spreadsheets, giveaways. Guys, thank you so much for your support. Take care. See you next time.
Bye.